Hello and welcome to another episode of Vanilla City Skylines, where we are building the city of Minoqua Bay. Last episode was part one of our big infrastructure project to expand out our highway network and to bring in our cargo and passenger rail network. And today we are going to continue out building the highway, the train infrastructure, and maybe even get into a little bit of an airport build. So the first thing to do here today is I'm going to work on connecting across the highway into this area. So what we're going to do is we're going to build out again one of those slip exits, and I think here we're going to carve out a place for this to sit. So let's terraform a little bit up against the highway. And this is just so that we have a straight landing point, or somewhat of one. It's not going to be perfectly straight. We just want to make sure that there is a good spot for our exit to hit. So just like last episode, we're going to have the exit come parallel to the highway. We're going to come up by 2. Then we're going to come up by 2 again. And now we want to, again, just kind of cut across the highway. Let's come off of all of our snapping. You can tell that actually is just a tiny bit too high. So let's try this again and really monitor where our height is. I think about there should be fine. Come down 1. That's not too unreasonable. I think we can just leave that as it is. Now we also want to see if we can, which I don't think this is going to let us, the way that that is set up. So let's rip those out just temporarily. And that'll be a super temporary thing right there. We're going to come to road guideline. This thing is always super finicky when it comes to building out these exits. But that's fine. Alright, now let's flatten this back out. Just kind of guide our highway underneath it. don't need road guidelines at all. And it'll be the same situation over here. Don't need road guidelines on. We just need to be super diligent about getting around the highway. So let's come to an angle snap. We're going to come down one elevation step. Let's bring our 6-lane road around here as well. That should be fine. And now we want our 6-lane to become a 2-way road. And it's just going to hook in right here. And now we're going to do the same thing on this other side. So we're going to hook it around. And this will be where it forks into the two one-ways. So now we have another method of getting people across into this higher density area. And let's go ahead and grab our highway exit. And we will hook it in. Grab our 4-lane highway. That's fine. You can just maneuver this around. We want to make sure that the highway is as smooth as possible. I think about there should be fine. And it's almost perfectly straight too. So now we need to hook in our exit. Wherever it will allow us to do so. It does not appear to be anywhere. There we go, we can hook it in there. And I think here we can just slope up to this point and have the exit be on this right-hand side. And then we'll just hook it in there. I think what we can also do, just to help promote some good lane mathematics, is we'll convert this into 3-lane, this into 4-lane, and then it becomes 6 lanes. And then that also will allow this forked junction a different way of crossing. Alright, so now we're going to tunnel under this road. Get as close as we can. This will be about there. Now we're going to tunnel back just right under it. And we're going to come straight up. Make it go as far as we can. Which I think this one we're going to have to curve a little bit. Which is fine. There we go. Now we have tunneled under that. And I think that may have actually... Oh no, that did not help our traffic flow at all. So where is it getting really bad? It's right here and right here. That's fine. I think next week, when we unlock the financial districts, we can just kind of use this as some insider trading knowledge. Because one of the... stocks we can invest in is traffic flow, and from what I understand, the lower the traffic flow is, the lower the price of that stock is going to be. The higher the traffic flow is, the higher the stock price will be. So let's see. We don't have any entrance ramps to this, do we? Just something we might want to think about. So let's slope down here. Do we want to do it there? Yeah, we'll just do it there. So let's see about building an exit ramp here. And then just hook it into that same point. That should work. And then we'll do the same over here. Just find a spot, hook that in. And that should work. Alright, so now let's pause the game. And we're going to sever this connection from up to here. Alright. I think I'm also going to have to extend out this little landing pad that we created. Alright. So now let's get the highway coming up this direction. I think there should be a good place. I'll just continue the slope. And then we'll just hook that in. Let's also make sure we have the directions correct on these. Whoops. So now our directionality is correct. All right. So now what we want to do is we're going to take a one-way highway with sound barriers and bring it parallel to here. Now we're just going to curve it around and hook it into the highway over here. That should be fine. We'll fix the lane mathematics in a minute. Are we at this height already? Yeah, pretty much. We're already at the height we need to be at. So let's slope this down just a tiny bit more. Just so that we can have this come a little bit parallel and then hook in. And now both of these are going to turn into two-lane one-way. So this one is going to come around. We're going to try to hug along this as best as we can. Then make sure the directionality is correct. And now we're going to fix our lane mathematics. Come in, this should be 4 lanes. And then it'll just split at the bridge. Cool. So now let's grab our 2-lane highway. This 2-lane has to hook up here. This one has to hook up here. So what we're going to do, just going to have them both come right under the highway. We're going to try to keep them as parallel as we can. That is not very pretty. Let's try that again. That's better. Alright. So now let's see how we want to do this. Do we want to do this as a trumpet, or do we want to do it as a T? I think we'll do this one as a T. So let's bring this one just straight under. We'll do the same thing on this other side. And now we want to come up by 2. Up by 2 again. And then just kind of hug alongside this as best as we can. And we also want to, as the elevation comes up, we want to come down. think we can sacrifice a little bit of the rock and fence detailing that we did. Alright, so we have flyover number 1. And now this we need to cross under. We'll just pull out a little bit more of this mountain over here, which leaves us with negative dollars. Make sure our directionality is correct. Now we have an interchange built for our very, very complicated downtown highway. Very nice. Very, very nice. So now let's work on getting our train infrastructure taken care of. So we're going to come out and flatten out a little area that is going to be... I guess we'll just take out a couple of loans while we're at it. Because terraforming is not cheap. Not cheap. So I'm going to pull out these train lines right here. And we're going to set up a one-way system. Let's use 3-lane one-ways. Or better yet, let's use, how about a 4-lane industrial road? Come out by 20 units. Again, check the topography here. Once we get to the College of Liberal Arts, we'll use this mountainous terrain a little bit more, but we just don't want it at the moment. Come across by, say, 30. So we'll have a 30 by 20. That should work. So now let's grab our train lines and let's speed this up so that we can generate more cash flow. I want to make sure that our rail lines are all parallel. All right. So train stop number 1 is going to be right here in the center. And I think this one we will combine these 2 train lines into one, and it will just curve in. That should be a good spot. So now those combine into one train area, or one train station rather. And let's bring, we think about a statue of industry. No, it will not line up perfectly. That's fine. So we'll come there with that. Bring another industrial road. And we can turn this into kind of an industrial park. And then just make sure that there's never any zoning on this road. Let's bring out a park fence. Just around either side of the road, which will also block out zoning. And then let's come in with some of our horse chestnuts. About 3 of them in each of these. I think that looks very nice. Alright, and so after this, we're going to take this train line, and we want to make sure that we are sloping this as best as we can. Too much soil. Too much? Well, if we have too much soil, then we can just dump some over here, I guess. I'll help that out a little bit. We know this is going to be an industrial area, so I guess we can wait until we get our enough money, and we'll place a geothermal plant. I think it'll sit nicely right about there. So at about that tree is where we need a pathway to come in. That pathway will go away. And let's go ahead and start getting our water hooked in. We still have some horrendous traffic flow, but I don't know. Let's see what our percentage is. It's already come up a little bit. All right. So again, we're just going to kind of slope this out. We're going to make some large sweeping curves and connect this into our international line. We should be getting fairly close to our 65,000. So I think what we'll do is we will take a short break while we generate some money, and we will be right back. Alright, so we are back with plenty of money now. And now what we are going to do, I've already gone ahead and painted out an area for our airport. It's going to be a fairly large airport, and I think we'll also incorporate our oil industry over into this as well, just depending on how much room we have left after we build the airfield. So what I'm going to do is we're going to come in to our airport area tab, and I'm going to grab the ultra-modern 2-story terminal. Actually, you know what? No, let's do the one-story terminal. We're just going to keep this a little bit cost-effective for now. And at level 1, we unlock the small hangar, modern control tower, budget airport hotel, small parked planes, the control towers for all the other stuff, and the airport bus station, which we are not going to use. At least not at this moment. So for this first level, we're just going to kind of get some dummy connections in, just so that we can make this functional. Because we're not actually going to have this be our main terminal building. That's very underwhelming. So what we're going to do is we're going to come and get an at-grade metro station. And we're just temporarily going to feed this in to our metro system. Just hook that in there. And then we're going to bring it to stop there. And then bring it back. Also just going to get a super temporary water connection in. And right now, while we're building out the dummy airport, oh, they also need some power, so we're just going to place a couple of windmills. Not super realistic for an airport, but, you know, right now we're just trying to level things up so that we can get the real buildings that we're going to use. So now we're going to come to our landing area and aircraft stands and just place a few small aircraft stands that we're going to connect with a taxiway. And these taxiways are all one-way roads, so you want to make sure that you have the access that you need. I'm just going to build a small dummy runway as well. Which, that's the wrong direction. We're going to want this going the other direction. Come across there. Make sure everything lines up. Fix our directions. And we will just have this be our temporary runway. And these airport taxiways are always super finicky. Which is fine. We can find ways to deal with them. So the way we have this set up, airport lands, comes in here, gets to taxi stand, comes around this way, and flies out. Super simple. And like I said, right now, these are just dummy planes. We're not actually using this as a functional airport. We just care about it being able to level up. Let's also come in. It's having some issues with crime, so we'll just place down a police station right there. Appears that that is two-way. May not actually be. Let's just come around. Temporarily. Also having issues with trash. So place an incineration plant. And let's check on what we have. So our attractiveness score right now is 0. Alright. So what I'm going to do is we're going to come in, I think right here, if we can. Don't believe we'll be able to fit that. That's fine. Which, again, all of this is super temporary, so we're just going to place some control towers. Which we only needed 2 of those. So now you can see we have people coming in through the airport. They are coming to this metro station and heading across the bay to the historic downtown. Very nice. So we will be back as soon as this levels up. Alright, and our airport has now hit level 2, which unlocks the large hangars, the luxury airport hotel, large terminals, concourse hubs, the elevated airport metro station, which I don't think we're going to use. I think we're going to keep everything at ground level with the metro. We'll see. It unlocks the airline lounge, medium parked planes, and medium aircraft stands. So now, let's pause the game, and we are going to rip all of this out. Alright, so now we're going to use... just kidding. We don't have the money for that. Now we do. So now we're going to come in and place our ultra-modern large terminal. We want to think about where this is going to sit in terms of our flow system. The terminal is going to sit right here. Now let's unpause the game. We're going to build out this highway a little bit as well. I think we will arc it to about... that point should do. Then we'll come out, hook into that road guideline, and that should be fine. So now we want to think about how this system flows. And we're going to take our elevated 3-lane one-way road just straight out in both directions. And we also want the terminal to follow this a little bit. I'm just going to come down by 40-30 in total. And it'll be a little bit unbalanced on this side, and that's totally fine. So on this side, we will come out... I think on this side, we can curve it. So we'll come down 10. Let's come off of road guidelines just to make sure that it's a true 10. So that's 10. That's 10. And now we'll come down. We can also... Oh, so this one doesn't really have a road guideline. That's fine. And we will probably... We'll see about placing the control tower there. That might work, that might not work. But one thing that I am looking at, if you look underground, you can see that we have a metro connection into this. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to come to our metro, and we're going to sink this into the ground. First we need to come down to ground level. That's about as far as it'll allow us to go. Come in there. Oh, wow. That's not gonna be nice. So what if we come around like that, and then hook in like that? I think that'll work. So now we're gonna move the stop over to the actual airport. And we're going to continue out this one-way flow system. It's going to come 20 units out that way, 20 units out that way. And we want this to flow into the highway. So what we're going to do is we're going to, let's see. So both of these are going to need to split directions, and I think what we're going to do, just bear with me, we're going to level this out. Come down to ground level. And what we can do is we can hook this in, well, apparently not there. So let's see. What if we take a highway ramp? We're going to level this out a little bit. I think we're also going to pull this back slightly so that we have enough room to make this interchange. Alright, so 3-lane one-way road. Comes back down in 10 units. And over here, we're going to arc it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to terraform this back out. And right here, we want it to curve. Okay. So now we're going to have this highway ramp. It's going to come up by 2. Up by 2 again. Now it's going to come across the highway. Let's level this out. Straight across. I think here, let's do some terraforming again. And let's see about having this... Okay, so we need to come up a little bit. So this is just going to mark where we need to come up to. This is approximately there. And that is pretty much straight. And now we're going to find a point to slope down to. And that is where we're going to hook it into the highway. Very nice. And now on this side, we're going to keep this at grade, come in, hook into the highway. And now let's see if it will allow us to hook into this. Will there, will not here. That's fine. There are ways around that. So just come in there. And I guess we'll just have to rebuild that. That's fine. So something like that. Hook that in. So now we want to connect this to this bridge. And we want to connect this to this part of the highway. Not enough soil. So let's get rid of this. Gonna have it slope up to here. Coming with our 3-lane one-way road. Come off of road guidelines, come off of angle snap. I think that should do it. So now we're going to use all of our snapping to hook that in. I think those are just historic shops that have abandoned, and we can fix that off camera. That's not a huge deal. So let's get our dirt road. We'll build 2 of these little dummy ramps. Which I think this just wants to be at a different slope. That's fine. So what we can do is we can level this out so that we will hit our marker the way we want to. Come out about here. That should do the trick. Come over, level this out a little bit. Ew, that is gross. Alright, so let's come off of all of our snapping except for angle. We want this to have a nice even slope. And that's still not quite low enough. I think we need to be about here in order to hit that correctly. Let's try that. Yep. That's exactly where we needed to be. And now we're going to come in with our one-way highway as these two combine. And at some point, we will bring 2 lanes off to hit this again. So now let's put you about there. I want to come up by 2 and then hook in and then convert to a one-way. That looks a little dangerous, don't you think? So what if instead we came off here? Down by 2. That's still not very safe looking. But I think we know approximately where this needs to hit, right here. And so what we can do is we can do the one-way highway about here. And hook this exit into it. And then hook in right here as well. Cool, so now we're going to come across the highway. And we're going to hook this in. So now we have our exit and entrance out of the airport. We also want to bring a loop around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 2-lane one-way with grass. I'm just going to bring it right across. That's not going to hit in quite correctly, which is fine. I don't think that's a huge problem. And what we can do is we can come in with our... let's see, is this the hotels tab? No, it is... this one? It's this one. So we'll come in with our luxury airport hotel. Very nice. I think we can also get away with putting one of our pedestrian area plazas next to it. How about small fountain plaza? Come off of road guideline and we'll just put a park life path right there. Very nice. And then what do we maybe think about having a statue of wealth? Let's see. That's no different than if we had placed it there. We don't want to place that there. Yeah. So, Statue of Wealth. We're not going to place that there. I wonder. How about a large fountain plaza? And that'll fit in nicely right here. Has a nice modern look to it as well, which we like with the assets that we're using in this airport. So I'll have a pathway there and a pathway here. And then come around with some of our horse chestnuts. I think that looks very nice. We also are gonna want to redo the water piping network, but we can get to that later in this episode. So now let's come back over here. We're gonna grab this slope. And we're gonna take our 3-lane one-way. And we're going to come to our angle snap just so we snap in correctly. Come back down. And I think here is where we can build our exits and entrances. So about there should do that. Oops, I'm building this wrong. It would certainly help if I had our directions going the correct way. Okay. So now our directionality is correct. Let's make sure that these always feed back into our airport loop. Let's also come here so that we can have a small parking lot, which airport of this size would probably have a parking lot the size of a tile, but you know, we're definitely focusing more around public transit with this. So let's come back here. Do we like that? That just looks awful. So let's come with a small brush. We're just gonna flatten this out. Get rid of this pathway. That should help us out a little bit. So our 2-lane is only gonna come to there before it bows out to start dealing with the elevation. Over here, gonna come in, just terraform a little bit out. Let's slip that just to get rid of any ugliness. So again, we're thinking about a 2-way highway with sound barriers. And not 2-way, a 1-way with 2 lanes. So now we want to come about here. Let's get a road guideline to snap to. We're just going to curve onto that. And now we want to have one of these going down to the lower level as well. Which we could get away with doing this on curve. I don't think we will, just because that's, yeah. That's fine. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of slope up to it. I think that would be a sensible way to curve into it. What if maybe instead of a parking lot, we have kind of a centerpiece right here? So let's frame this around with some of our wild hedges. And we're going to take some small trees, and I think I can, so this is just the general idea. We're gonna frame the rest of this, but we're gonna take some of our small trees. How about flower tree number 2? We're gonna write out our airport abbreviation. Do we have enough room for that? I don't think we do. Oh well, that's fine. But you know what we do have room for? Rocks. We like rocks in this city. We like rocks indeed. And so now that we know where the 2-lane is, on this side we can finish out our lane mathematics. I believe we can also do that on this side as well. So let's see. And I think we're going to have to do a tunnel network for this one. So let's check and make sure that... No, that's not going to work. This is what happens when you forget about things. We can come back to that. We'll probably hook that up in the detailing. So now let's come in with some of our aircraft stands, which are here. So I'm going to place some medium aircraft stands. We want to place them as close together as we can to ensure that we maintain the concrete texture. We're going to come in with our taxiways. Geez, y'all are having all sorts of problems, aren't you? Ooh, you know what we forgot to do? Forgot to redo the water pipes. Alright. So, water pipe under this road. Where it belongs. Water pipe, water pipe, water pipe. And I think this is going to pitch a fit about water pipes as well. So we'll just do that. And then again, get our temporary water line in. We're also going to need a temporary power line as well. So I think we'll just... see, is that going to work? Yes, it will. Cool. Now we have that. Now we're just gonna slope that out, and we can build some pathways around that, and just normal detailing stuff. I think let's come in with our concourse again. Just a small one, right about here, for us to put our air traffic control tower on. Very nice. And we can come over here to this side, and we're going to place down some small aircraft stands. Say about 4. No, let's do a 5th one. Let's make sure we have our road length on. And we'll place another air traffic control tower using the same technique. Nice. That's not a taxiway. This is a taxiway. Let's come there. So this is the point that we want that to be at. So we're going to place that there. Let's see about some decoration buildings. How about a medium parked plane? I think would go nicely here. And then we can come around with some of our vanilla path. And a couple of our favorite horse chestnut trees. And some small wild hedges. Just to kind of help frame this out a little bit. We can even add in a couple of our favorite flower trees as well. Let's see, will it let us? Yes, it will let us get some more concrete that way. There, that'll work nicely. So now we need to make sure that we have a runway for planes to arrive and land on. I think we'll place that runway about here. That should work. So let's curve this around without road guidelines. And now with road guidelines. Jeez, that just looks awful. Oh well, you know what? We can just... We'll come there, there, and there. Just to build out how that's going to intersect with the runway. And then come over and delete that. come to the road guideline and hook it in. We can do the same thing here. So use the road guidelines to hook in to things. So I think here we will connect that like that. Ooh, and we need to build out some more taxiways. There? No. Let's do it about here. Of course, this thing is going to be super finicky no matter what. So get rid of that. Should just be able to hook straight in. We can. Oh my gosh. There we go. Got that figured out. So let's see, how about we place an airline lounge? About here. We'll have some aviation fuel stations as well. Maybe. We'll see where I feel like putting that. Got a medium parked plane right here. Another one about here. Very nice. We will do what we did on the other side. Just going to come off of our snapping and put in some vanilla paths just to get some more concrete. I forgot, people like to have water pipes. And we're back to level 2. Crime rate is high. I will, I'll just act like I'm surprised. Because I'm not. What do we, ooh, how about a hangar? That could be nice. So we can come in with some of our large hangars. Where we would imagine that planes are just going for some small repairs. And we'll have our taxiway come over here so that we can like actually accept passengers. Let's bring our snapping back on. Let's see just how much concrete we get out of this. So it's not a whole lot that we're gonna get. So we'll probably just do 2 of the large hangars. And then let's see about using some small hangars. That should be close to filling it out. Very close. Let's see. Can slide that any further, we can. It's about as far as we can slide that, so Let's see. Nope. Not enough space. That's fine, but we do have enough space for a parked plane. Which, again, is just about filling out this concrete texture. We do have our airport fence. So let's come off of our snapping. We're gonna build out this fence for our airway. And right here, we're just gonna get some more concrete with our vanilla path. As much as we can. I think that's about the extent that we're gonna be able to get, so we're just gonna come with... I don't like that tree. Just come around with some of our horse chestnuts. And that should work. So we need to get our attractiveness score up. Our passenger count, I think, will be fine. Hotel discount? Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, we don't want them using cars either. But you know what we do need to encourage is, I think some bus travel could be useful. Maybe, we'll see. How about, what do we think of bringing in a concourse hub? Of course, we'll have to redo that rail line, but... small sacrifices. Then we'll curve that around. Yeah, I think that'll work. So then we'll just come in with, and I think this is where we're gonna have our large hangars sit, is along this corridor. So what we'll do is we'll come in with some medium aircraft stands just along here. It's just gonna continue being finicky about placement. But that's okay. There's a remedy for that. Whoops, and now we don't have electricity. Now we do. So I think what we'll do with these trains is we'll tunnel them under the airport. I think that's going to be about the best that we can do. And this isn't by any means a large airport. This is probably just an average to small-sized airport that we're going to have for this area. It's not going to be... I don't really envision this being a travel hub like, you know, Atlanta or like Charlotte or New York or Chicago. So I think I'm happy with this being just, you know, an average-sized airport. Let's come in, because we still need to get it decorated more. Could definitely use an aviation fuel station. We'll come in here again, come off of our snapping with our airport fence. Very nice. That's not gonna work. That would not make sense, I don't think. So we need, what, 200, 120 for attractiveness. And I think I know how I'm going to get it, but let's see. So we just need 3 small hangars or 2 airline lounges. Let's put an airline lounge against the concourse hub. So there's 60. And I need 60 more. I think what we'll do is we'll place... So we don't have enough money for that. But I don't like how that's gonna look. Yeah, maybe we can just place a couple small hangars. And now we are at level 3, which unlocks the aviation museum, the parked cargo planes, the large parked planes, the airport train station, the cargo airport terminal, the airline headquarters building, the large aircraft stand, airport cargo train station, which we are going to use, and the cargo aircraft stand. So let's come in. We're not going to use those quite yet. We want the large aircraft stand. I think we're only going to be able to place one of those. But we can fix that. Now we're going to place more than one of those. Place one there. Just not enough money. Wait a minute. Oh, that was dumb. Oh well. Now we do have enough money. Oh, here we go again. With the very lovely finickiness. So let's see about that. I don't think we'll be able to place much here. So what we'll do is we can just kind of make that a very heavily landscaped. We'll come in with some more airport fencing. Around this area, up to the airport lounge. And we will also come in. Let's grab some of our train network. Let's come off of road guidelines. We're just going to come down by, I think 12 should do it. Yes. So that will do that. And we'll have it just tunnel straight under the airport. Of course, we need to make money. There, do you have water now? Cool. Okay. So let's... Oh, we need money for that. Never mind. So we're going to place... as soon as we have the money, we're going to place down the airline headquarters business. Building. I forget where that is. Is that... considered a decoration building? No. I forget where it is. It's gonna be one of these that we don't have money for. Airport Hotel, Airline Lounge. There it is. So we need 120,000 for an airline headquarters building. Okay. I think we can get to that. Geez, look at all those passengers. And that's not correct. So let's come back over here. Oh, you know what? It's just because we didn't build this out. That's why. That's why that looked the way it did. Oh, so we only need 32,000 to build cargo rail under tunnel. That's fine. So now let's worry about getting this set up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come to my road guidelines. Let's come up a little bit temporarily. So we have an idea of where we want the terminal to sit. I think we're gonna have it sit about here. Which, obviously, we don't have enough money for, but... let's get that road in there. And now let's take a look and see. Yes. That's how we want to do it. No. No, that is not the way we want to do this. And the reason that I'm saying we're not going to do it that way is because this road along the back, if we were to place it right here, is exactly where our taxiway is, and that is not good. So at least we have this lined up, but that's not how we want this. Why do we still have a high crime rate? Like, this building is accessible by the police. Do I just not have any police? let's see. I have one police headquarters building. I have 2 police headquarters buildings. And that one is using all of its cars. Cool. So that's why that was the problem that it was. Should have... Yes. No. No, we don't. We need 180,000 for that? Jeez. Oh. Alright. So let's make sure we're on air cargo. We're gonna build out the taxiways. So let's do what we did over here. Come out by 10 and connect back into the runway. And these cargo aircraft stands are going to have to be placed roadside. So what we're going to do... So let's see if that is correct. It's close. So we need to come a tile up from where that was. So that was 2 tile, 2 10s. So we're gonna come up by 2. And that should be pretty close. It's closer. Let's come 2 more then. There. 1, 2. There, that's about as close as we're gonna get it. Alright, so we'll have that marked there. Let's see how this terminal looks. So I think if we bring this terminal here, we need to come, it looks like we need to come back 1. Or 2. So let's see what happens if we put it here. If we put it there, then it lines up perfectly. Cool. So we're gonna let this sim for a little bit and let us get enough money, and I will go ahead and build this out. We'll be right back. Alright, so we were able to get enough money to build this in, and just what I did was I took this road and I extended it all the way down, and what I did was I went in, grabbed our cargo airport terminal, I just hooked it into this road because it wouldn't hook into the little grass roads that we had running along here. So I think that just about wraps it up. And as you can see, our traffic flow has gotten up a fair amount just because we're getting rid of a lot of our tourist traffic, and we are also increasing the use of our public transit. So I think next episode we're going to work on getting our population up so that we can build out our College of Liberal Arts along this plot of land, and I think we can eventually get our population up enough. We'll probably put a... of course we'll have to unlock the tile, but I definitely want to have the football stadium up against the river once we have enough population for that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start detailing this up, and we'll be right back. Thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe below. This is, I think, a good start to our airport. We will definitely come back and continue building this out as soon as we get some more industrial demand. And next episode, like I said, we will work on expanding out residential zoning and get to where we can build out our College of Liberal Arts along this incline, which I think it'll be nice to not be building on such a flat surface. I think it'll certainly make things interesting, and we definitely will be adding the extra tile. Let's see, okay. So it'll probably be this tile right here that we add in our next episode, and we will continue expanding out our infrastructure. Is something that's this massive of a project certainly is difficult to do in 2 episodes, and I think we've got a good handle on it so far. Our traffic flow has gone from something in the 60s up to about 86, and we still have a lot of traffic here, which if we just zoom in, we can see is going to the cargo train terminal, cargo train terminal, cargo train terminal. These are importing goods. That one's a tourist who probably needed to come through the airport. That's another tourist. That's another tourist. And so it's really going to be about prioritizing intercity transportation, which we've got a good start on it with our airport, and eventually we will need to get passenger rail to start importing our tourists so that they do not come by car. And now enjoy a brief city tour.